Keep doing this again. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an exciting episode of episode preview. Jesus, stream. I don't even know what to call anymore. I've been so gone from this. Like, I don't even know what to call this anymore. Do I call it stream? Do I call it an episode? Do I call it a preview? You know what we're calling it? We're calling it Welcome Back to the Party. We're calling it a party. Welcome back to an episode party of Watch What Happens NXT. We are on the last day of the new year, and I couldn't think of anything to do more than spend it watching all my favorite NXT PLEs and then talking to you guys about why I still think this show is needed. Took a lot for me to come on here and do this. Personally, it took a lot for me to want to even continue this. A lot went on while I was gone, while I haven't been doing the show. I struggled with even being involved as a content creator, but so many motivational things happened for me that I was like, you know what? I need to make people sick of me. I need to make people sick of NXT. I need to make people acknowledge that NXT exists. So why not do that by hosting a show that specifically talks about NXT? If I could show you guys the links I've gone to, if you guys can see, we're not in our typical yellow and gold era anymore. We have switched over to black and white because NXT is black and silver, and I don't make silver background, but I think my background was the most important thing to change. I said I was going to change. There's a lot of things that are going to be going on. It's a lot of things I'm going to be talking about. There's a lot of past things on NXT that I want to get into. That's not this episode. We're going to reflect on 2024 and the changes in the landscape that NXT has brought us, and it being on CW, and why I feel like it's weird that it's still not in your top moments of 2024. Nothing, like not Trick Williams winning the NXT championship, not, you know, Kalani Jordan becoming one of the first ever North American, like NXT created a whole different title first before WWE decided to finally, and gave it to their standout Kalani Jordan. It's not talked about how Wesley turned on his best friend Zach and Trey during the TNA invasion. The TNA invasion isn't even talked about enough. Isn't that crazy? Like Joe Henry blowing up the TNA, like coming over from TNA and going over to NXT and having more social media views, if not the same as CM Punk coming back and The Rock coming back. Like him blowing up WWE's Twitter is not talked about enough. Like the fact that the Wolf Dogs and Braun Breaker, the fact that Braun Breaker came from NXT and to become Intercontinental Championship is not credited enough. Like, no, it's not credited enough by you guys. What's wrong with you? Did you not watch NXT? Like, in my absence, y'all couldn't even watch NXT? For shame, but it's okay. I forgive you. And I digress. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. We'll be talking about that moment where we thought that NXT was about to be, we thought that TNA was about to be canceled, become NXT at some point. It was so many people that went over there. We're going to talk about the kings and queens of the things. We're going to talk about some talked about moments, Feel free to leave your most talked about moment in the comment section, because that's something I want to hear. I want to hear about that. There's so much I can go over. I'm only giving myself an hour to do it because it's New Year's and I still got stuff to do. So we're going to jump right into it. But first and foremost, as always, I'm going to thank my girls, those wrestling girls, Krista B, Queen PR, for still allowing me to get this platform to get y'all in the know, to know everything. Look at this. I even came up with some slides for you guys. Like, I was in my bag these past few days and I've been sick. I was in my bag for you guys. So shout out to them. Like I said, they got some really exciting stuff coming up. I know those wrestling girls, they're always working. They're the longest running tag team in the modern era. I'm sorry if you think it's somebody else. It's not. It's those wrestling girls. It's just fact. It's out there. It's pretty paper. Shout out to them. Like I said, they have a lot of things. You have Krista Corner. You have Wrestling Meets Pop Culture with Queen PR. You have them, of course, uploading, I believe, FANCLUB. We're coming back. I'm back. I'm back every Tuesday at 6:15. Before an episode of NXT happens on the CW. And hell, I might even be here through more live watch parties with you guys because a lot is happening. I want to see a lot happen. So just stay tuned for that. Thank you for coming. And if you're new here, welcome to the madness, to my craziness, to me spewing a whole bunch of random things and talking NXT. And if you are coming back, welcome back, honey. Welcome back to the party. I missed you. I know you missed me. I missed you too. So without further ado, let's get started, of course, with what I just talked about. If it hits you in the face, well, first of all, let me get my music going. Like, you see what I mean? I'm so rusty from doing this show. I forgot to put on like music. I forgot to get the lo-fi. I forgot to get the music ready. Where's the lo-fi music? There we go. And now I feel like I'm back. Oh my God. It feels good to be back. What has changed? What hasn't changed? I'll tell you one thing that's changed, and that's seeing a flood of some of the best wrestlers in WWE and TNA merge and say, let's just all be great at wrestling in subpar sports entertainment together. Let's just do that. You had a lot of people go over to TNA and show how awesome they were. You had a lot of people. You had the best of NXT go over there. You had the best of TNA come over to NXT. And I want to thank Miss Jordan Grace for that, because the homegirl showed up at the Royal Rumble, saw I was on the main roster, and said, okay, I went up against some big fish. Let me go back to the other pond and see what they working with. She saw Roxanne Perez talking all that gum about how she was the best, and she was like, hold my medals for my weightlifting competition. She said, you know what, Roxanne, I'm gonna show you why that's wrong. We're gonna have us a wrestling match, okay? Because I know you were wrestling. And Roxanne would say, okay, bring it. Bring what you got. She beat her, and then it left a crack in the forbidden door that we really needed. We all know that the speculation is that Miss Jordan Grace's contract is up, and that's why she did it. But the feud that happened back in I want to say near Battleground time, the feud that happened is something that can't be forgotten. It's something that should never be forgotten. It's something that should be talked about from the heavens to the high. That feud really opened the door for TNA to come in and say, well, we got some good people too. And it seems like we got better people. What you talk about? Come in. Let's just cross over. Let's cross our borders. And in that, you have one of the best segments, some of the best showings on TV that there could be to offer. One person that sticks out to me the most is how we got to a finished story almost with when it comes to Wes Lee, because his friend left him with nothing. He left NXT without a trace of knowing what was going on, and he reunited with the Rascals. He reunited with Zachary and Trey. And it set off to be some of the cutest segments. They got to do their treehouse segments again. They got to do a match. They got to high fly all over the place. They got a match with no quarter catch crew at TNA's biggest PL pay-per-view. Sorry, they're not PLE, they're pay-per-view, which is Slammiversary, which is a good match. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It was a good match to watch. It was great to see those guys duke it out, all the high flyers and the strong arm guys in one match. Great match. Again, watch it. We got to see Frank Kazarian come to WWE and be in a battle royal, and hopefully this Shawn Michaels, that picture is Shawn Michaels saying like, hey man, like, do you want to come here and study what I'm doing and implement it in TNA so we can be like a powerhouse? And I hope that happens too. Also got to see Rosemary do her thing. I like Rosemary. A lot of people didn't know Rosemary too much. A lot of people got to know her when she teamed up with Wendy Chu and did that whole program. And I was thinking it would lead to more with Rosemary and Jordan Grace. It didn't yet, because they're kind of focused on Misha Slamovich kind of having everything. But I'm glad that's over. We got to be a part of it. I'm glad that Carly Bright and Kendall Gray got to go over there because they're college standouts. WWE seems to have a lot of faith in them, at least from the NIL aspect. And they got to wrestle like with actual wrestlers. Not saying that they're not wrestlers. They're really good. But they got to do their own thing, and then it's transferred to Level Up, and they got to do really good on Level Up as well. There's going to be more from them coming in 2024. I know it. 2025, sorry. I can feel it. I know it. Another person I think that's going to be doing great in the fold, I'm watching her now. I think it's Dame. Izzy Dame kind of built herself without really exposing too much of herself. Her going over and answering that open challenge speaks volumes. Like her phrase is, you either got it or you don't. I like to hear that. That's a confidence. But you'll do everything you can to show that you have it. And it is what it is, honey. I feel like there's more to her this year. She went from being Kiana James's sidekick to being like, I don't need anybody. I could go on my own. I don't need nobody. Please. I'm one of one. Kind of a Beyonce-esque attitude. The last person I remember having that type of confidence, who I miss so much, is Eve Torres. And if they're giving me a blonde version of Eve Torres, not to compare, but a contrast almost, that's how every time I look at her, that's how I feel. That's how I feel when I see her. So I'm excited about that. I was excited to see Santino be with his daughter. She kind of made herself the commissioner without being appointed by Ava, which was hilarious. So that was good to see. Another thing you don't see this picture here is Brindley V. Shout out to her doing her thing with Zion Brookside and going up against Ash by is it Ash by Elegance or Elegance by Ash? Can't remember. Going up against them and doing a phenomenal program up to, I believe it was Bound for Glory. They were doing that program. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And also, of course, the moment that broke the internet with Mr. Joe Henry. Mr. Joe Henry going in there and basically being more socially programmed on WWE social media than anybody else. That was great. Him singing a song about Ethan Page was hilarious. Him basically erupting the arena was the most amazing thing I could ever think for him. I'm happy all that happened for him. I'm so happy all of it happened for him. There's more to come with Joe Henry. I don't think he's done. I don't think that a lot of the people that were at TNA are done. I won't be surprised if we get a TNA Invasion Part 2. I won't be surprised if they can kindly give War Games back to NXT. Maybe we can have a War Games with NXT and TNA. That's just me throwing out. That's just me throwing out my theories. Sorry. But this was great. I was happy it happened. It opened the door, the forbidden door. WWE finally like, you know what, fine, we'll open the door. Now you see NXT talent in Bloodsport. WrestleMania weekend, we saw Shayna Baszler kind of do it. She was GCW's Bloodsport because the relationship with Josh Barrington is going to go really far, I feel. You also saw a lot of Charlie Dempsey in GCW, which I loved watching. And then I put Carmen Petrovich because that was amazing. She was there. She did an amazing job at Bloodsport. You also saw, like, you're gonna see a lot more people doing indie events, I feel, from WWE, especially their TNA talent. That's where I feel like it's going. If they want to keep that relationship of, listen, we already got WWE ID, if they want to keep that indie circuit relationship going, and I felt like when they were doing all this, that it was going to lead to WWE kind of creating an open door for ID for indie wrestlers to kind of develop themselves as superstars. And now you see why. They just gave you an example on what their NXT talent can do outside of the ring. Now all these indie talents are going to be able to do it here. A lot of people are not happy about WWE ID because they feel like it won't give their wrestlers time to work while they're under WWE contract. Please go read what WWE ID is. We're going to talk about it in the next episode of Watch What Happens at NXT and what that means. So that covers that. Shout out in the comments below. Tell me what you guys think was the best of all time when it comes to that interaction. I like the interaction because it was something that said we were never going to do it. And in this era of wrestling, we're doing it. Like in the Shawn Michaels and in the DX era. That's what I'm calling it. In the DX era of WWE, we opened the forbidden door. It's not it's the Levesque era. Don't get me wrong. It's the Paul Levesque era. It's the NXT is in the Shawn Michaels era. It is the DX era. When DX decided to spray paint DX on the side of WWE corporate, this is what they were manifesting. We're in a DX era. Okay, that's what I'm calling it, and that's what it's gonna stick. Get into my favorite thing that I saw and noticed this year was the rise of factions. The rise of factions this year, guys. I feel like it's long overdue. I was saying that people were complaining about there are too many teams. And hold on, let me just buzz out of here real quick. And let me pan the camera. And let me shut off this music real quick. If I hear another person complain about factions in wrestling when there are like 17 different subpars of the freaking Bullet Club, and one of them this year called themselves Bullet Club Gold in AEW, and the Bang Bang Gang. If I have to hear people complain about the Bloodline or the Family or No Critter Catch Crew or the purpose of why there was no more Chase U or why the Bloodline still can't get this shit together, again, y'all loved some Bullet Club. They had like 50 different members. They have expanded to Australia. I don't want to hear you complain about factions anymore. Please stop complaining about factions. They're here to stay. They're here for a purpose. Some of them like cheat and steal their way. Some of them just want all the gold. Some of them just want a clean sweep. We need another clean sweep in 2025. We need another clean sweep in 2025. If factions have to give it to me, let it sit there. Without further ado, let me continue talking about factions. Back to what I was talking about. Sorry. We had to say goodbye to Chase U. R.I.P. Just like I had to say goodbye to Trick Mellow Gang. R.I.P. to that. We're not dressed in black today. I mean, we have a black bra on, but we're not dressed in black. We're still in mourning. But we got a lot of prominent rising out of a lot of factions. We got the D'Angelo family looking stronger than ever in 2024. At one point, they had the Heritage Cup. They had the Tag Team Championship. And they also have now the North American Championship. You might be able to get another Tag Team Championship out of them. Whatever they decide to do with Nathan Frazier and Fraxium, as they're called. They were a good tag team. Shout out to them too. We might be able to get a lot more out of them next year. And I'm paying attention to them. Another team I'm paying attention to that's going to come back. I don't know if they're going to dissolve. I wrestle what I think was going to happen to them is Metaphor. Lash and Jakara have been doing a damn thing. Listen, going overseas, being a PLE in a foreign country as two talented women. Great thing to see. Like, great thing to see. Put themselves up with the best in Jay Cargo and Bianca Belair and Io Sky and Io Shirai. And then going off and just making a name for themselves. Lash has already had a name for herself for a while, but then you add Jakara's attitude with her into the mix, and it's just perfect. I feel like there's more to them. Like, Ormes has been doing a phenomenal job on Level Up. Level Up is done after this week, so been doing a phenomenal job. I just think it's worth it to note that it just needs one of them to hold the gold. That's it. And if they want to put them on main roster, if they want to have them do it on NXT, it just takes one of them to hold the gold for them to be good. The mic work, the interaction, everything is great from those teams. And another team that I'm gonna miss that had that was Chase U. And let me tell you something. A lot of people were mad at me because right after Chase U had gotten dissolved, I kind of blamed. I did blame Andrew Chase, and I did, as I should. You tried to wager the school 3 times already. You had thing with Schism. You had this thing with you gambling the school money, and JC had to come in. And then there's another thing. You keep letting strangers into the school that don't meet the requirement, so it's your fault, my guy. That's on you. You know one said like you let JC in because she was friends with Thea. Well, then the JC thing's kind of on Thea being a brat. No, putting that out there while I'm here. JC was doing a good thing and didn't feel appreciated, and that's why she turned the way she did. But she helped, and then y'all don't give JCJ her flowers either, because if it wasn't for her, they would have been Chase U for like another semester. And then she went on to create a different faction and decided to be with Fallon Henley, who was also not feeling appreciated. And, Jasmine, who had to stand idly by and watch the unappreciativeness unfold. It's all on Chase U. There's a new faction because of Chase U in Fatal Influence. Shout out to those lovely ladies. They have a gold, which I think is interesting. They have the North American Championship, although I don't know how long this is going to last because it seems like Gigi seems to be a trigger for JC still, which shows you a lot. Feuds never die, long-term booking over there. But then Ridge Holland, and you know what? I can't even blame. Hold on. Pause the music again. I can't even blame if we're going to blame somebody, I'm going to blame Thea. Because she's the one asking for forgiveness all the damn time and being too nice and welcome in. Like, girl, sit down somewhere and be a student. Why? Why you had to go and do that? Why did you have to go and invite him? But it's okay. I forgive you. I think everybody forgives you. I still don't say back what I said about Andrew because no one told you to say if I don't win the NXT championship, if I don't win what bothers me is that he wagered on a technicality, to be a number 1 contender, bro. You wagered to be the champion. Why would you bank your whole school year establishment? But I feel like this isn't the end of Andrew Chase. This isn't the end of Chase U. I'm dying to see what happens with Duke. I'm dying to see what they do with. I hope they do something. With Riley Osborne. Please do something with Riley Osborne. I beg. Don't leave him out in the cold. You already know how I feel about Ridge Holland. Tomatoes when it comes to Ridge Holland. You already know how I feel about him. He's okay. But I hope to see more of Chase U. Still Thea's fault. It's still Andrew Chase's fault. They're the reasons why there's no more Chase U. So if you want to point the blame to them. Just like it's Trick's. Just like it's Mello's fault that there's no more Trick Mello gang. Although you can also blame Trick for that because Trick's eye was to try and just be above everybody else, that he kind of lost sight of his friendship there. But then again, Carmelo, you can't expect somebody to want to be your sidekick all the time. There's a lot to talk about here. We're going to talk about that more when we get to the kings and queens of NXT. But again, I digress. I'm not going to change my mind. I blame Thea. So let's continue. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of moments that talked about. If you guys can see my background right now, I'm at the part I'm watching every PLE ranked from top to best, in my opinion. Vengeance Day still holds core memory as one of the most memorable PLEs. A lot changed. Of course, you had the birth of the Wolf Dogs becoming the Dusty Cup tag team Dusty Cup winners. You had Carmelo Hayes become basically do the most heel thing you could possibly do, which is turn on your friend. He was, the Triple H to Shawn. People was feeling the way that they felt when, Triple H told Shawn, you made me do this. People were feeling that way. It hurt. It hurt a lot of people. It hurt me. I wore black for a week. Y'all were there. Y'all know what happened. Also, Wesley turning. That hurt me a lot. Just so much hurt. It's not pain, Then I had to deal with it this. Then, you know what? I had to deal with it 2 weeks ago when we was feeling bad for Ethan. And you know what's funny? We're going to talk about Ethan Page in a moment. But he's a genius heel. That was genius what he did. I'm sorry. It's diabolical. It was wrong. Poor Javon. But poor Javon, oh well. At the point. We're going to tap into that for a moment too. There's so many great moments that happen. I want you guys to please leave in the comments what were your favorite moments of 2024. I will bring it up on the next episode. There was so much that happened, so much first, so much last. It's too much time into this episode. So right now we're going to get into who I thought were the most dominant females in NXT for 2024. I've ranked my top 5. The middle being number 1. We're going to start with number 5 at Tatum Paxton for basically being a menace and a devious one and having a dollhouse and being a taunter. She was what the people needed when it comes to Esta Loca. She was crazy. A lot of people wanted crazy in Roxanne. No, you got crazy in Tatum. You had crazy in Tatum. For her to go over, then to go over to TNA and be crazy over there. That girl bought the madness with her. And then had the nerve to proceed and we thought she would obsess over one person. She made us feel bad for you. Like then she went to try and recruit Wendy Chu. That failed because Wendy Chu was like, what are you doing here making me lose? I am the most evil one, not you. I think she did a phenomenal job for the young lady that is Tatum Paxton development wise. I feel like this is her year to develop. She did a great job. Like she just kept you captivated. You didn't know what she was gonna do next. When she showed up to Stand Deliver, I was kind of like she was useless. But then when you saw what happened, what she did when Lyra didn't kind of want to give her the time of day, and she turned on Lyra. That to me is the most great development to storytelling that you could possibly ever do. Like, oh, you don't need me? Fine. I'll show you. And then she kind of flipped the switch. She kind of gave what was needed as far as an unpredictable character. And that, to me, is the best thing to be remembered as in 2024 as that unpredictable one. Because now she's in, like, it took all the alt girls to come and help her. Granted, she really doesn't need the help, but she's there to give help anyway. So I wanted to give her flowers for doing what she did in 2024, being the topic of conversation when it came to girls that are just great character wise. For her character, I put her on the top of 2024 because that's she gave great character. Another person that I think that's good character wise to me is Jada Parker. Y'all love Jada Parker. For someone who came from the background she came from, of course, another NIL standout. For her to give the mic work and the ring work that she's giving, 10 out of 10. I gave her ring work a solid 9. I give her mic work a solid 10. I give her attitude a solid 20. Child, when she got back in the ring, she was like, nah, we gonna run it back. Perfect. Phenomenal. Be yourself. Don't change. Like, have the attitude, have the confidence, have the I got it and I know it. Have it. It's gonna go a long way. So what? She's not she came so close to being the first ever women's North American championship, but close is good enough. Next time she might end up champion. She will end up champion, in my opinion. I won't be surprised if she walks away champion, like, at all. I won't be surprised. Another person I don't see not becoming champion this year, going into 2025, is that young lady Lola Vice. The attitude, again, the confidence, the in-ring work, queen of the NXT Underground, baby. Lola, you need to give up. You ain't giving up that Crave Fairy formula. Don't ever give that formula to nobody. You just embody what it means to have the perfect transition from what an MMA wrestler should become. Another perfect transition. She follows in the footsteps, of course, of Shayna Baszler. She follows in the footsteps of people like Ronda, of people like with other women and men with MMA backgrounds. You know, Brock coming back that way. You have you have Bobby Lashley. Great MMA to WWE transition. You could transition between both. You have somebody that's good at that, and I feel like this was her year. She walked in the breakout tournament star winner. She walked out undefeated in the NXT Battleground. I want to see who her Battleground opponent's going to be next. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. I see her doing a lot more. You want to fight me? Let's do it with all hands. Let's do it all hands. That's what I see. I'm excited to really see that. I'm excited to, of course, see. Yeah, I know I'm a big Kalani Jordan stan. Shout out to the girl. First ever, never gonna be the first ever. Nobody's gonna ever top the first. It's first ever championship that was even considered after the last championship. They were all fighting for one belt. And here she came and she said, you know what, I'm going to take this belt and I'm going to put my glory on it. She put the glory on it for anybody else who's going to become champion. I'm sorry. You're going to forget about everybody else who becomes Women's North American champion. You're never going to forget her. And it opens the door to a lot of people that are going to have their eye on her. I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in the Rumble. You still need a lot of women to compete. 30 women. You still need 30 bad bitches. Some of them are injured. I wouldn't be surprised if they pick her to be in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a number. I would love to see that. I would love to see her. I would love to see Jada at one point. Probably not this year, but next year. I would love to see Lola. Because if you're going to put Elektra Lopez in there, imagine her and Elektra having that moment in the ring where they have not seen each other for a long time and like, bitches you, I remember you tried to end me, you used me. Like, they need to have that interaction. I can't wait to see that. But of course, they'd all not be competing for the top spot if it wasn't for that young lady in the middle right there, Miss Roxanne Perez. Now, I gave some harsh truths about her villain arc was becoming annoying, but in the end, she kind of showed you why. It was a perfect heel origin story. You screwed me over. You're not giving me a chance. I'm being too nice with you. I'm done playing nice. She was done playing nice when it came to Lyra Valkyria. She couldn't get anybody on her side. Then she realized, she's like, you know what? Screw you. I don't need you. I'm going to beat everybody, and no one's going to stop my way. No one's going to take this belt off me. Not anybody from TNA, not anybody from Japan, not anybody you got in the back that you think sits in the performance center more than me. I'm the best. I'm at the top. I'm the prodigy for a reason. I'm the one I'm the fence. You ride me, basically is what she said. I'm the fence. I'm the gatekeeper. You got to get through me. Okay? And she proved that. This year. Her and Cora Jade becoming Team 2021 again, perfection. Yeah, they're losing, but it did what it was supposed to do. It kept the belt on Roxanne Perez. I can't wait to see what it does this Tuesday. Now that Julia kind of has Stephanie Valkyrie in her bag, may or may not, we don't know. We don't know how it's going to fold out. but it's literally looking good over here. These are your queens for 2024, in my opinion. Shout out anybody you think should have taken somebody's spot. Shout out who you think might rule 2025 with an iron fist, because things are heating up. We are only just getting started. It's in one day. By the way, we're getting started one day. Just want to point that out there. But yeah, let me know. Let me know who else you think up is next. A lot of people that I have on my eye too when it comes to kings. This list was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Like I had to change. I had to change a lot. I had to change a lot of people. I had to change a few things around because people on top, they're the ones that are most memorable. When I look at the guys that I put here, I did put Faxium as a tag team. I mean, they took them belts and as two single competitors that kind of didn't have anything going on for themselves, they took this belt and they made it relevant. They made it the belt to compete for. Like they were a made up tag team and they were kind of like, who's gonna take it off of them? Like who's gonna take it off of them? And we still don't know because no one's taken it off of them since. Nobody, not one soul, not one person. That says a lot. That means you've done the job. The only people that were able to take it off of them were, I believe, Chase U, and that was for a brief moment. They got them right back, and even their little back and forth right now just proves that there's more to be done. I don't see them losing those tag team titles anytime soon. Not in 2025, probably mid 2025, probably around the same time as Stand Deliver. They're gonna give us a banger of a match of Stand Deliver, and that's gonna be it. Because they can take that tag team championship to the main roster and finally give us more. We have so much on the tag team front on Raw and SmackDown that they can compete on Raw and SmackDown for a real tag team championship. We got 2 belts. Why not? Right? Why not? I look at Javon Evans and I think, wow, like without a belt, he's gonna do phenomenal. With the belt, he's gonna do phenomenal. Yeah, I know I was so excited about him debuting this year, but the amount of shit he's done this year alone, like him jumping up to challenge Ilya Dragunov and having one of the best matches on NXT television for the year, volumes. Him having a title shot as early as he did, volumes. Him being engulfed in the program and being talked to by people that say, I'm watching you. It sets up something that could be good and bad, because I feel like, yo, he can literally be this young kid that just does it all. Or Ethan Page could have been the breaking point for him and saying, you know what, I'm gonna take it the way I want to take it and be cocky. He could become cocky and everybody loves him because he's just like a kid. Like he is 19, he's the youngest there, but in their mind he's still a kid. He's a fan, like all of us are fans, which is why this works. A lot of people haven't even come for him for his promo work. I think his promo work is different. It's cute because he's speaking like a fan. Like it's hard not to appreciate how much of a fanatic he is. He's living his dream. Like even when the montage during Stand Delivery, he was like, it's me. I get to be on TV. Like all of us dream of doing that. All of us dream of being a fan in wrestling one day, just to see our face on a Titanatron to say, I used to pray for times like this. It's the capitalism of wrestling. It's the number one backstory of wrestling. You can't avoid it. You can't hide it. You can't do nothing about it but just sit and admire. Like, he's perfect in that standstill of that. And I feel like it's going to take him far. Don't know what belt he's going to have. He might even link up in a tag team. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets grabbed for a tag team because he's just that damn good. But he has to be somebody that keep up with him. This Ethan Page feud, I feel like it might establish Ethan Page as a heel, or it may give you a great rise from the trenches of anybody who doubted me type story with Javon Evans. But all in all, I'm excited about Javon Evans. Another person who I think is going to make a strong comeback is Ethan Page, because Ethan Page has already established himself as the heel of NXT, especially after what he did the 2 Tuesdays ago. He's established, like, I'm the bad man here. I'm the bad man. I don't know what else. I don't have a tag team championship to kind of steal right now. I don't have a championship to take off Trick Williams. I'm out of that fold. I'm out of that game. So the only thing I can do is be an asshole. It worked. That's how he got there. He can't. And then the smart thing that he did, I forgot they were in Lao when Sean said, "I lost my smile." For him to do that, for him to go through that, that was genius. That was genius. It was pure gold. I laughed. Not at Javon Evans getting his jaw smashed in. That was wrong. But I laughed at that. You know why? That's devil's work. That's heel work. And we like that type of work. NXT went from not having enough notable heels, just a bunch of tweeners and people relaxing from the main roster, to having a top heel in Ethan Page, somebody who's above everybody and not above himself. He thinks he's above himself. That's the perfect heel. He proved that. So a lot to see from him, and a lot to see from, of course, the Nigerian Rulan Obafemi, the brother from the motherland. You walked in North American champion, and now you might walk in to 2025 as the NXT champion. That's going to be an interesting match on the 7th. I don't know who's going to win that. I just don't know who is going to win that. I don't know who's going to win that. It's the first time I could say that. Like, I don't know who's going to walk up with the championship, because I genuinely, like, if they can they both be champions? No, they can't both be champions. Seindole, what's wrong with you? We don't know who's going to be champion, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to watch. His promo work out of this world. You know, you had to whoop that trick era because I let you be whooped. I let there be a whoop that trick era. Chef's kiss. Even his interviews, how confident he sounds, how much learning he did, how much 2 years just was. Like, he's like, I'm just gonna dominate this whole entire thing. And y'all are just gonna watch me do it. Y'all are just gonna watch me do it, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be saying it like this. I'm gonna be saying it just like that. Like, that's a man. That's a man right there. He's the man. But y'all tune in with me and watch and see what happens at New Year's Evil. But of course, the year goes to none other than Trick Williams. Let me tell you something about this man. It's another pause music moment right here. For you to get betrayed by your best friend out of a title shot that you earned fairly at deadline, for you to be screwed after you lost, and then to have to prove that you're not just your old best friend's sidekick at the biggest weekend in wrestling history when it came to Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania weekend. And then for you to win at a PLE, and then for you to lose unfairly during a fatal 4-way, and then for you to win it back on a technicality, you had to literally ref a match with your belt in the middle and then win it back. And then to have some guy walk up to you and say you had to whoop that trick era because I let you. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. But I'm interested to see what happens here when it comes to what's next for Trick if he loses the belt. And I'm also interested to see what happens if he wins. Because a lot of people, I don't know, people aren't ready for main roster Trick Williams. It might be a little too early. It might not be early. It might be too late enough for him to go to main roster. I don't know. A lot is speculating on the fact that they want to see Trick on the main roster. I personally, at one point was hoping Royal Rumble appearance yes. Main roster, no. We're not ready for that. We can hold the brakes on that. Solely because there's so much more he could be doing NXT. Like, he needs to have his own arc that doesn't revolve. We had the arc of I'm not the psychic anymore. He needs to have his arc around I'm Trick Williams. Literally 6 months is not enough in my book. It's not enough in my book. There needs to be more. There needs to be more as far as there needs to be more. There just needs to be more. In my opinion. It needs to be more. There definitely needs to be more. I loved his interaction with Lash. I loved his match. My favorite match out of Trick Williams is definitely the one between him and Ethan Page. I don't like how they turned that match between him and Javon Evans into a triple threat. I thought that was unfair. I felt like him being hoodwinked by Eddie Thorpe was genius. Putting that out there. That's what I thought about that. So these are your kings, and also far and foremost from what I expect from him. I know there's going to be another story to be told, especially if Obafemi does win. You're going to get longevity up in Stand Deliver. They could make him lose and then do a rematch at Stand Deliver between them, but I don't know how it's going to go. Because there's other men that want to be involved in that fold. And I don't think if Obafemi loses this at New Year's Evil, he's gonna take it lightly. You're gonna get a big feud out of this. You're gonna get a long-term telling book feud out of this, in my opinion. So these are my kings for 2024. Again, y'all leave in the comments below. Did I forget anybody? Should I have talked about somebody a little bit more? Should somebody be swapped out? But again, this was the year of self-establishment for a lot of NXT talent. Like I said, you had factions that trying to make themselves the number one. You had an invasion that happened, but we also can't forget about who I feel like is next up. There's a couple of people I'm rooting for. One of them being the first young lady over here. Y'all not gonna catch me this year not talking enough about Julia. Julia, this is her. She's in her age ain't really nothing in the number. I just think she's in NXT for a short time. I think when they're ready to put her on the main roster, I wouldn't be surprised if she's on the main roster quicker than most on a smooth draft. I also think that Zarya is on the same path. I think she'll be in NXT for maybe a year or two. Not trying to rush the progress, because they're already established wrestlers. They already know what they're doing. They're kind of there to tune up everybody else that's there. The same thing I feel about Stephanie Valkyrie. They all know what they're doing, and they're there to tune up who's already there and give them some attention. If you haven't, and let me tell y'all something, Level Up is on its last episode, still on Peacock. Go watch Level Up before it ends so y'all can get to know some of these people that I'm talking about, because we've been telling y'all, I've been telling y'all, Patricia's been telling y'all, Brian H. Waters been telling y'all, shout out to Ash from Lip Gloss and Ladder. She's been telling y'all to watch. Watch Level Up. You should have been watching it the way everybody should have been watching NXT UK. Watch it, because some of these people that are on there, they're going to go far. I see a lot of potential in this young lady that's an Olympic gold medalist. Her name is Tara May Steele. She's been doing great on Level Up. Another person, he won, I believe he was featured on the Roki program that had the Next Gen. He was featured on Next Gen. Cutler James, he's good. Mic work is good. In-ring work is good. His transition's been great. He's a wrestler. He's somebody to pay attention to. I'm definitely have my eye on him. Another person I feel like is going to have more storyline-wise and more athlete-wise is Carmen Petrovich. Like I said, she just did Bloodsport. She's going to do a phenomenal thing. I think she might go into the championship gold once she figures out this whole thing with Ashanti. And also, good thing that they're doing that, because they don't bring that back. That was kind of a shade of 2.0 that they kind of left behind, and they're bringing it back with the whole storyline with her and Ashanti. And then Dion Lennox and Nikita Lyons getting involved. They kind of sprinkled that there. I just feel like I liked it. I enjoyed it. I want to see more of it. So shout out to her. being involved in that. Also, like I said, I'm glad Soul was back. Oh my god, we need our high flying girls back in the ring. So this is your year, 2025. Also can see being your year. Also can see you doing phenomenal things. Don't know who Roxanne's dropping that title to, but do I see you holding the title? If not 2025, definitely by 2026, or I even see her being main rostered. She's too phenomenal to keep in the back. She's too phenomenal to keep in the back. I'm sorry. If she's on NXT TV, she's gonna be on TV, period. That's just my opinion. And then, like I said, you already know I'm a fan of Zarya. I can't wait for Zarya to just wreak havoc. Pure blown havoc. There's a lot of people that I didn't bring up. Like I said, Level Up is ending. It had its last episode. Check the retweet. Byron Saxon talked about it being filmed, and it's gone away. It's being replaced though by Legends of Future Greats, and there's some people. I put 2 people on here that I think should definitely be on that show. Should definitely have a recurring role. Uram Connor, son of Misfit Finley himself. I think he's doing phenomenal. His character work is one to pay attention to. Him and Kale Dixon, their character works are ones to pay attention to, and I'm paying attention to it and Level Up. Another person's character work. All these people here that I put on this page, great character work. They're the ones I think you should watch for that alone. The character work in itself. I feel like Izzy Dane is gonna just, especially with her attitude and her mic work, great character work, she's gonna do great things 2025. Another person, Lainey Reed, her in-ring work and her character work, great. She went from this sweet Southern Belle to this sweet and sour Southern Belle, which I live for. Please don't underestimate her coming up. And like I said, besides those 2 guys that I have there, I also have Eddie Thorpe. For him to be able to turn the way that he did by getting himself jumped, because he said, listen, if the NXT parking lot isn't good enough either way, I'm gonna just make it do what it do. Everybody want to feel bad, people who get jumped backstage. I'm gonna just jump myself and get myself. I'm not gonna jump through all these heels to get a title shot that I should have gotten years ago. I'm not doing that. That is beneath me. I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal like Eddie, like the other Eddie, the Eddie that everybody know and love. It failed, sorry, but I'm gonna do it, and it was genius. So that kind of character work, I could appreciate 1000% coming up. Another person who's on this, I Was the King. He started off as a heel, mind you, last year, at the end of last year. This year, he's more like, this heel thing isn't working. I keep saying I'm not like my dad, but I'm more diabolical than my dad ever was. And he turned it smooth into a face, kind of like Roxanne was able to turn into a, you guys were on my side and now you're not. So you know what, screw you. He kind of flipped it and said, I'm not my father, but I'm acting like my father. So I'm going to do things that my father would not do. My father was never the Heritage Cup champion, and now he's Heritage Cup champion. So shout out to him. I can't wait to see more of it. He's already shown remorse for how he won the Heritage Cup, and it says a lot. I can't wait to see more of him. I can't wait to see everybody that I just mentioned. You're going to also see a lot more people coming from the main roster to literally just wreak havoc and see what's going on at NXT, because NXT is one to pay attention to right now. There is a transfer portal. I can't wait to see who's coming from NXT to take over that portal. There's just a lot going on. It's going to be exciting. It's an exciting time for NXT. So start watching. Start watching tonight, because NXT is live tonight. This is going to be pre-recorded. Thank you guys for rocking out and watching this video. If you've watched to the end, please subscribe to Those Wrestling Girls. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Everything Seindole B. Be on the lookout for more content on Watch What Happens NXT on the Instagram, on YouTube, on this channel. Be here every Tuesday. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a time to be alive. It's fun. It's fun over here. Just come and have fun with us. just come and keep having fun with us. I promise you won't be disappointed. I promise you it's a good time. We used to have live streams. Live streams were the best time for us to talk about NXT was before on a live stream, and I will bring those back 6 o'clock every Tuesday. Can't wait. As you guys know, my name is Seindole B. Shout out to those wrestling girls, and shout out to me, and shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys for the year. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2025. I hope your 2024 was full of blessings and money and testimony. I hope it was full of everything you ever wanted. I hope 2025 is the same. And be on the lookout for more content for Watch What Happens NXT. Remember to watch what happens next on NXT. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next time. Bye.